In August of last year, I posted a video about the concept livery, or what was thought to be a concept livery, for a unified Metlink brand for Wellington buses. So for those of you who aren't aware, we've just had the tenders done in Wellington, and from mid-2018 Wellington buses will be run by Transit, NZ Bus, Mana Coach Services and User Bus, and all of the buses are going to be painted in the same livery for all of those companies. Now, we still don't know at this stage what that livery is going to be. Now, it was thought when that picture was posted on the Metlink website that that was going to be the design, and it turns out that it wasn't. Now, I was on Google earlier today trying to find out some more information about the Unified Livery Plan if I could, and I stumbled across a document that the Regional Council put out actually before they even called for the tenders. I think that was published. It was actually a document that's probably over a year old. Yeah, but in there were 3 concept liveries which I will put on screen for you now. They are a bit overlapped in this picture that they put out, but not to worry, because I've been in Microsoft Paint and I've recreated these liveries in a way in which it's a bit easier to tell them all apart. So they should be on screen now. Now, first of all, I'm going to say that the middle one, which is the green one, that one I've been told is currently the favourite at the moment, which is a bit of a problem because back in the early 2000s Metlink toyed with the idea of a unified livery back then, and they painted a few buses in the Hutt Valley that very colour, and the response was basically that everybody thought it looked shit, and with good reason too, because it did look shit. It was a bloody awful colour. But I have a bigger problem with this, other than the colour, and it's not just this livery, it's all 3. All 3 of these designs involve putting graphic designs over the windows. Now, I mean, this is not about whether I like or dislike the liveries, because I think that as liveries they are good ideas. Both the silver ones in particular I think could work very well, and the bottom one with the lines is my favourite of the 3, and I would love, and you know, I would like to see something along those lines. I think that's a step in the right direction, but for God's sake, don't put graphics on the windows. And there are 2 very good and very important reasons why you should not put graphics on bus windows. Well, I say 2 important reasons. The first reason is very, very important. The second reason is a little bit less important. Now, the slightly less important reason is the passenger perspective, which is that you're sitting on a bus, you look out the window, and all you can see is graphics. You know, they obstruct the passenger's view out of the window, which makes the bus travel experience a little less pleasurable for them, because we get a lot of tourists in Wellington, and a lot of tourists use public transport, they use the bus network, and for God's sake, you know, if you're a tourist visiting a city, you want to be able to see out of the bus windows and not have your view obscured by all of these lines all over the windows. But the more important reason is actually not the passenger perspective, but the operator perspective. Maintaining a livery like this that puts graphics, stickers all over the windows is very expensive. No one knows this more than NZ Bus, who have had several very interesting liveries, put graphics all over the buses. They look fantastic, or at least they did back in 2007 when they came up with them. But if you go into central Wellington today and you look at the Go Wellington buses, you'll see at least half of them are missing the Go off the back of the buses. And you look at Valley Flyer, again lots of bits of decals missing. They just look a right mess. And the reason why is because every time the bus has an accident or has to be repainted or redone, whatever, you know, they have to redo those graphics, and it's expensive. Now, buses get damaged all the time. They'll hit all sorts of things, especially the really long ones. Back windows get broken all the time, you know, and every time that the damage is done and they have to replace panels or replace glass, they have to put those graphics back on. And that's the reason why so many particularly NZ bus vehicles, I mean, I don't mean to pick on NZ Bus, but they're the only company I can think of that's really been affected by this problem, because not that many bus companies in New Zealand have actually put graphics over the windows, the reasons of which I'm starting to make quite obvious in this video. They put these graphics all over the windows. It looks lovely, but then damage, got to replace the glass, got to replace panels, got to put it back on. And when you're doing that all the time, it becomes really, really expensive. And this is the problem, because we're either going to end up in a situation where the bus companies are spending money on fixing up the livery, or we're going to have a load of buses in Wellington which don't have a complete livery because the bus companies can't afford to fix it, and therefore half the buses in Wellington will end up looking shit because they won't have their liveries done properly. Now, I'm aware that the document that I got these concepts from is an old document, and the bus companies in question, the four that I mentioned earlier, will have hopefully gone to the council and said, look, these liveries are really, really nice, but we think that you should make some changes and get these graphics off the windows, you know. Hopefully they'll have said that, or somebody in the council will have had a brain and pointed out the flaw with this, you know, because it is a problem. You know, Metrolink in Auckland, which is another NZ bus franchise, did a similar thing involving sort of lines and circles at the back of the bus, and it got so much of a pain in the arse that they got rid of them on every single Metrolink bus. Obviously it's not a problem anymore because they're all going over to AT Metro livery anyway, but for a time it was a problem, and it's been the same problem for Go Wellington and for Valley Flyer, and Waka Pacific had that problem as well with their big W all over the windows as well, another NZ bus one. You know, it's just such a mess, and it's really expensive, and also, like I mentioned before, it makes the experience less enjoyable for the passenger because they can't see out of those back windows properly, and that's really, really disappointing, especially if you're a tourist and you're trying to take in the sights. So hopefully somebody from the council will have watched this video and understood what I'm talking about. Either that, or somebody from a bus company will have watched this video and thought, hey, actually he's got a point there, maybe we should go to the council and do something about this. And ultimately, you know, the bus companies, they need the livery to look good, yes, but it's got to be affordable to maintain. You know, you want something that's low maintenance, that's going to be easy to repair when it's damaged, and is ultimately going to be cheap but still look good. And it's possible, you know, it really is possible. So hopefully something will be done about this, because it really is a problem. And also hopefully we won't end up with buses painted in yuck coloured green either, because to be quite frank, it is the worst colour I've ever seen a bus painted in. Okay, that's all for now guys, and I shall see you in another video.